What's up guys, this is Shannon and today we're going to check out Park Square in Gamuda Gardens. Let's go! Hey guys, today this is the first time I am in Gamuda Gardens and I have not expected that they have already expanded into their subsequent township already. So just an information up front, right? So Gamuda Gardens has been doing so well. They have already expanded into their second township which is nearby called Gardens Park. And we are actually standing right in front of the site right now, but this is the condition of the site right now. Okay, so now they are building the road, so they will be putting in all the soil, then pre-mix later before they join everything. And the site that we're going to check out is just right next to this, which is a double-story, individual title, freehold shop office. A lot of investors' favorite, which is also something that we're going to talk about later, but let's go to the sales gallery first. So first of all, let's get our coordinates right. This is Gamuda Gardens, that's Gardens Park, and we actually came to the highway passing by this one. Right, so this is the North-South Expressway. We passed by Gamuda Luge Garden here where you have the Ferris wheel and the attraction point, passing through the toll, and when we turn in, we will reach the entrance of Gamuda Gardens already. This entire thing here is Gamuda Gardens. And in total, this will be 810 acres. So we passed by here, we saw the brand new commercial area already. And now we are actually in the experience gallery in the center next to the central park that we're going to check out later. But what I didn't know is they also have a subsequent phase called Gardens Park. And this is the subsequent township following the success of Gamuda Gardens. So here it will be 532 acres in total. So here 810, here 532. But the concepts are different. So the entire development here are mainly stratified. All the landed here are all in strata, and we have seen several things being completed already, including the commercial, the high-rise, a few phases of the landed. We'll go check them out later, but the main thing that we're going to check out today will be this new development called Park Square located in Gardens Park. So for this township then, everything here will be in the conventional individual title format where a lot of locals love lah. So in total, this one will be 122 units located next to this brand new accessway where they call Central Parkway, which is going to be somewhat like a shortcut into Anggun Aeon where locals all go there and shop apparently. So between the townships then, there will be this park connector that is done, so that will further connect both townships all together. Another main concept difference will also be the landscape treatments. So here you will have a central park that is about 50 acres, but since this one they have the main circulation cutting through the middle, they will have a ring concept instead. So you look into the lights, right? So that will be the 50 acres ring park. And this is going to be the main access into that ring park, and Park Square is going to be the main connector where everybody or visitor who wants to access the park, right, this will be the main area to stop by. And since it's our first time today, what we're going to do is we're going to check out personally on the Central Park, on the brand new commercial area. Then we're going to check the existing rental rates of the shops around to also kind of guesstimate what will future investors get lah. So in other words, right, technically Gamuda Gardens and Gardens Park, it's in between an intersection of three main highways: the North-South Expressway, the Guthrie Highway, as well as the Lata Expressway. So this is going to be the intersection point here, and I must say from an infrastructure level, right, this is beautiful to watch. As a result, a lot of residents here actually works in PJ or Mont Kiara, and it takes about 20 minutes to get to their office only every day. And this is how early we are in the process lah. So there still aren't any official brochures just yet, but this is courtesy from the friends. I absolutely love my job. But anyway, so this is Park Square site plan. There will be generally 3 typologies for the shops. You will have the 2070 that is 2008, type B is 25 by 70, which is the end lots. 3,005 square feet, and type C, which is 34 by 70, 4,500 square feet. So looking at the surrounding, there will be the main entrance via this one, also this one in the center. So when you pick your units, please do estimate where you get the highest frontage and where do people pass by the most. So due to the position of the entrance and exit, right, so I think these will be the main roads. So this ring here will be the main road, but because this is located right next to the ring park, this becomes the main place where visitors from the city will just come over here, bring their family here, travel around the park, then when they finish they get a group dinner at the commercial area before they head back home. And that is currently their main strategy, which I think is working. So from the main highway, what you can see from the Ferris wheel and things like that, that is cool looking. So when you're coming from a weekend activity, wow, inside here is beautiful. Then you come here once a month, maybe once a week, or then subsequently becomes every weekend. Then you kind of get used to the place. Maybe I can live here. And that's how they are attracting a lot of residents that's moving in right now. However, the layout for commercials are all somewhat the same. So you will have the frontage that is 20 feet for the intermediate, 25 feet for the end lots, then the corner lot, then it will be 34 by 70. And you know what? Let's go check out the real things now. That's the exciting one, right? Oh yeah, the indicative price starts from 1.4 million currently for a freehold commercial lot. Now we are right next to the lake, which is right behind the experience gallery. So you can see that it's very well done, and this seems to be the hangout spot for a lot of people from the surrounding township during the weekends. So what they observe is during the weekends, right, the entire car park area will be packed with people as visitors all bring their family here to come and chill, because this definitely feels away from the city as you're very close to nature and things like that. But what we are more excited about is the commercial activities here. So you can see there's a seafood restaurant here, there's a Japanese restaurant, there's some tadikas, preschools, there's a restaurant and cafe. So this is Yilo restaurant and bar, this will be a cafe, and the ongoing rental rate is about 5 to 6 ringgit per square feet, depending on the size of the lot and the floor levels as well, because I think ground floor will cost way more. I think the one on the upper floor, that one will be more appointment basis kind of things. So moving through the central park as well, now we are actually right next to Village Home, which is the completed phase. I think this is one of the very first phase of the entire township, and it has been handed over. So what you can see is divided by the fence, and you will have landscape at the side, even in the center. Then you can see all these are stratified format, so the facade are all really nice looking. Occupancy rate is also very high. You can see all cars everywhere. Some people are even selling the house already, and all these are just connected to the main central park again. And what's in the front, that will be the Esteem series of things, where it's going to be way larger. All the atas homes all there lah. So for all developments connected to the central park, they will have a direct access, which is always good. And in terms of infrastructure also, you can see all these are all well done. You have the concrete flooring that's broom finish, street lightings, drains, and they even have a pet waste disposal station, which is nice. Trees are all matured, everything very tidy. Superb. Further down the park, and yes, we are still in the park because the total area of Central Park is about 50 acres, where you can accommodate all these activities zones. So this is where they call the adventure park. Just some spots to let the kids burn off their energy, and while doing that, parents can sit at the side. But once again, you will have the bicycle stands. Just looking at the infrastructure elements, right? What I like is this station for you to sanitize your hand before the kids get to go and play. Then there will be a pull-up bars, a huge slide, some flying fox activities at the side. And what's great is they even differentiate what's suitable for kids versus what's suitable for toddlers. So these are the toddlers area, where it's a little bit more flat, a little bit less exciting. And they even put out a canopy for it, very nice. And this shall be the samples of homes that will be provided around. Now we are going to check out the other commercial area. This one is the really big one under the Gaia development. So here there will be a Gaia residences, which is the high rise, then you have the retail in the front. And look at it, right? They are having some car park issue already. Now got car park issue already. Wow. So what we can see here are some pharmacies, some mama, some kopitiam. Beat Mart is here. Also some preschool, some clinics and things like that. So I guess as a local here, I mean a person who stays in Gamuda Gardens itself, you can pretty much get all your relevant commercial needs settled within proximity already. And this is before Garden Square is even up, which is the next phase. Like literally next to Gaia, that will be the square. And in accordance to the theme now, this block of building is very popular among the short-term stay due to the Gamuda Luge Garden, which is the theme park kind of thing. So a lot of people do actually come here for a short weekend getaway, and this is where they reside in. As a result, the commercial areas at the bottom right is getting a rental rate of about 3 ringgit per square feet, which is rather healthy at this stage of the township. And right opposite, now we are in Gardens Square. So this is a stratified development, where in total it consists about 133 number of units. And what's cool is this is strata, right? And they are sold separately. So this got one title, one title, one title. So it means that you can actually sell them separately if you want to, if you acquire the whole thing. And because it's stratified also, the entire look of it, right, is going to be well preserved. All these are all common areas that will be under the jurisdiction of the management. So they will be all well maintained, including all the landscape treatments here. So you can see like it's all dressed up right now. And this will be VP'd by end of the year, which is December 2024. So for those who have invested, right, congratulations, because the team has just made announcement about the recent tenancy agreement signed with Star Grocer and Taylor's International School. So Taylor's International School will be renting up most of the second floor to start their brand new branch of an international school here. And indirectly, that just showcases the strength of the developer when you invest in a commercial lot with them. On a conventional basis, when you buy, you are most likely on your own. You get your own tenants, you figure out the program yourself and things like that. But because this is a stratified one, also because this is also somewhat like a symbol when you come into the entire development, right? It's the first thing that you see. Therefore, it's very important for them to ensure this project is a success. Therefore, they'll have a dedicated team to just work on the leasing, which means they will actively go look for tenants, look for the right service providers, right companies to all come in and make this development work. And this is somewhat the grand entrance of the entire development. So this is not VP yet, so we are getting first glimpse, but this is part of the area within. Wow, just look at it, right? This is somewhat like a high street that we see within commercial areas. You have the huge fan, covered rooftop. So the entire shopping experience here will be rather unique, where tables can be put out and people can just have a good time. Very nice. Plus all the brick wall facade give you that old school vintage kind of feel. This is so cool. And based on a tenancy agreement that was signed for the tenants here, it's about 5.5 ringgit to 6 ringgit per square feet for tenants who have already signed the agreements lah. So these informations then will be very useful whenever you are investing in their future phase. But just to think back also, for the past projects of this developer, all commercial lots has been a huge success. We'll talk about it later. So from Gamuda Garden, this is the main circulation pathway that actually going to connect over to their brand new subsequent township. And now as you can see, they are building the roads already. So that will be the location of Park Square. As you can see, site works are very fast, and that's something to highlight as well. So as we have just visited Gamuda Co, 25/7, all their other developments, right? One of the main core strength of their team is their construction and execution ability is just splendid. Like for example, this is the local roads under the jurisdiction of JKR actually, but they are not stingy about it. They are even beautifying it all the way. All these landscape treatments, right, are extra effort by the team itself. And not only that, at the side, there'll be a walkway for runners to actually run from one township to the other. So that's great news actually. And I guess that's all for the township. It's now time for Sean's Take 3 on 3, and the very first thing I like will be this particular brand of developer. Okay, so we have visited a few townships of this particular developer already, and I must say at this point we have really witnessed their skill sets and experience in placemaking, township development, infrastructure, construction and execution. Whatever they promise, they will deliver. And that seems to be the fear for a lot of investors when it comes to development located in the address that is within the fringe of the city. And for a lot of people who buy into this particular brand, there is absolutely no concern on whether the project can be completed or the real thing is going to look exactly like their brochure and things like that or not. So that's a very good part that I like. And let's zoom into the product a little bit, right? Just by comparing, if you were to buy a shop lot from a smaller developer versus this particular township developer, usually if we buy outside, we are most likely on our own. We need to get our own tenancy, we need to find for people, we need to manage on our own, right? But for this particular developer, the after sales service is the most valuable thing. For example, for the Garden Square, the one that we just visited just now, right? There was a clear demonstration of the developer bringing in catalysts. Yeah, so you can see everything still is in construction. But what I'm trying to say is they brought in Taylor's International School, they are bringing in grocer, they're really doing their best in trying to make the township work. It's because they still have so much more land to develop, it only makes sense to ensure success for the earlier phases. And that is also somewhat point number 2. This particular phase, if you look at it, it's just an individual title, freehold double-story commercial area. But if you zoom out a little bit, this is part of a township. And the best thing about being in a township is everything is planned through. You will not have anything that will cannibalize each other. And when they built, for example, this one, you'll be concerned of whether will there be catchment, will there be enough population and things like that. They are already executing the plans they have for the township. So they first launched Esther, which is the first residential project for this township, and now we're actually checking out the commercial area, and they're getting ready on phase 2, phase 3, phase 4 already. So by the time you get your keys, which is 24 months later after they start constructing, there will be people moving in already, and you have existing populations around the area. So as part of a township, the developer will always be in place to drive activities, just like how they set up the theme park attraction right from the highway itself. So that's an example of their place-making techniques, like to really draw eyes to people, draw people in for holidays first, then for the weekends. Then sooner or later, people will gain interest, people will move in and things like that. But what I also like is the differentiation between Gamuda Gardens and Gardens Park. So Gamuda Gardens seem to be a more T20 kind of category product, and for Gardens Park, it's no longer stratified title, everything is individual title, and the prices are a little bit more friendlier, and it's actually designed that way. So they have all the T20 products, and they also have the M40 and B40 products on this side of Township. Then the third thing I like, this is somewhat like that staple product for investment for a lot of property investors. So it's somewhat like the individual title terrace house. If you are one step higher, you're kind of tired of residential title already, right? I think this is one of the more solid options, where it's very direct, it's freehold, it's individual title, means you can do whatever you want with the facade, there's no restriction and all. It's the first phase as well for the township, and they have a very solid track record of all their first phase products in terms of investment. So all their first phase all has been doing very well, but that's also part of point number 2 and point number 1, where they have a strong track record, they have proven track records, they are a township developer, they have been doing this again and again. You kind of get the picture lah. Okay? So the only thing to think about is really end lot or corner lot based on your budget. Well, that is also part of the 3 things I don't like lah, which is number 1, it's being that very first phase within the township itself. So the uncertainty that you see, whether will it be just like what they marketed, how is the market going to be like, what's the return like, and things like that. So the only way to do that as an investor is to somewhat have enough information. For example, the one in Gaia, we have the rental rates, we have the Gardens Park with the rental rates, the one next to the Experience Gallery. Use all those existing rates to somewhat guesstimate the returns that you're going to get as an investor. And based on all those data, I think it's okay, it's not too bad. But the safest thing to do is always to have a buffer in terms of savings for the initial stage. Whenever people are just moving in still, it will require some time before businesses all come in, your tenants all come in and things like that lah. So the second thing will be the current site condition and the location of it. So compared to Gamuda Gardens, which is located right up front, Gardens Park seems to be the one that is deeper within if you measure from the highway lah. So automatically the entire tenant profiles will be different. For example, a more well-known franchise brand will definitely prefer the one located in Gardens Park compared to this one of Park Square, right? So if I want more visibility, because that you will have the theme park attraction, you have the tourist crowd and things like that. Within Park Square, I don't think it's going to be a tourism driven spot, it's going to be a local market driven spot. So this is going to be where you have all your tuition centers, all your local kopitiams, local restaurants, bookstore and things like that. The tenant profile is going to be a little bit different, but if you were to come to the site, there's absolutely no need to be concerned of whether the developer will complete the job or not, because based on the entire township, right, that we just visited just now, it's exactly like what they promoted, it's exactly like what they have in their brochures, and we have seen so many different township of theirs already. So it all boils down to our homework as an investor versus the risk that we are comfortable with. And the last format that I don't really like, well, this one is personal already lah, so I kind of prefer the stratified version of commercial area like what you can see in Gardens Park. So that is when all facade treatments are controlled, common areas are controlled. So in terms of experience of a shopper or a visitor, right, it will be very different because now you can actually do teams, you can actually have control over everything. So the governance will be there. However, there will be the need to pay maintenance fees, and there's a dedicated car park system. So some people like it, some people don't. And I guess this is the good side of this particular township, where you have both. You like stratified one, you go strata one. You want individual title type, this one no. But based on experience, based on research, all investors still prefer individual title because it's direct, no fluff, no maintenance fee. So I can just buy and I can just do whatever I want with it. So that would be the more conventional type of shop offices that we often see around KL City lah, where the market decides the condition of the shop fronts. If there's going to be a lot of student population here, so the tenancy will be driven by that. Basically, the business activity is dictated by the population around the area. So it's just strata versus individual title. See which one you like. Personally, I like strata. As an investor, which one you prefer? Entirely up to you. And I guess that's all for this episode. So this one is a rather direct product, and it's so amazing to see the entire place making strategy taking place. Every time I pass by the north-south highway, I always see the theme park, right? But I never really take the time to explore. So I am very impressed with the entire progress of Gamuda Gardens, and based on the sales progress, it's actually very healthy. Even their commercial lots, like we can see Gardens Park, we have seen Garden Square, Village Square, and now we have Park Square, and that includes the Central Park strategy, where in Gamuda Gardens you will have the Central Park strategy, on Gardens Park you have the Ring Park strategy that acts as assignment to things. So from strategy to execution, I think it's solid lah. And they even think about one township to cater to T20s, another township to cater to the public, just to fulfill the market demand. I think it's excellent. So do I like the project? As an investor, I'm very tempted because the entry price is a little bit more friendly compared to those within KL City Centre, right? That one all cannot afford already. And the return is highly dependent on the execution ability of the particular developer. So they have their track record. So it really depends on how much you believe in the developer. And I guess that's all for this episode. If you really like this episode, like it, share it, and even subscribe for more information like this. Until next time, this is Sean Tan. Ciao.